All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please, I'd like to kick off our program. Welcome everyone. I'm Mark Wright. I've had the honor of doing this award ceremony for probably since the beginning, maybe 2016. I think I may even have had brown hair when we first started doing this event. Today you're going to be hearing some amazing stories, award-worthy actions taken not only by people in uniform, but everyday members of our community who stepped up in really courageous ways. I look forward to this day every year because I am so inspired at the humanity that is exhibited by the actions taken by people in this room. Quick show of hands, who's had to call 911 in their life before? How many? I've had to call it multiple times. And you know what? Somebody always shows up. And that's many of you in this room. The other thing that I'm struck by is that there isn't a calamity, a disaster, a health problem that the Seattle Fire Department can't deal with. From a landslide to a high rescue to a heart attack to a car crash. If it happens, these men and women of Seattle Fire can deal with it and deal with it well. And finally, as I get older, I get a little more cognizant of the thought of legacy. And when I look across this room, we all want to know at the end of our lives, have I done something to make a difference in our community? Have I done something to make the world a better place? And without a doubt, every single one of you connected to Seattle Fire can answer yes to that question. So let's give that a round of applause. So we are live streaming and recording today's event. So if those who couldn't be here can experience it, hello to everyone watching on the live stream. And we will hear from a few special guests. Mayor Bruce Harrell is here today, and many city directors as well as reps from Council Member Alexis Mercedes Rink and Robert Kettle's offices. Would those folks stand, including the mayor, so we can recognize you today with a round of applause? So we have a lot of people to celebrate today, but before we get started, let's take a moment to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish and Duwamish peoples, who include but are not limited to the federally recognized Muckleshoot Indian tribe and Suquamish tribe. So let's pause to honor with gratitude the land that we are on and the stewards who have come before us. All right now I'd like to invite our chaplain to offer the invocation, Abby Hodge. Abby, come on up.
We gather together during this season of spring, the season that's filled with awe and inspiration. What a perfect time to honor and to celebrate incredible gifts and amazing service. We give thanks for this opportunity to share a meal together as we celebrate with honor, with awe, with inspiration, gifts of service and gifts of mind, strength, and heart. Amen.
All right, now it's time to stand. If everyone would stand for the Walter Kilgore Seattle Firefighters Honor Guard and Seattle Firefighter Pipes and Drums Band. As the colors are presented, we invite those of you in uniform to salute. For everyone else, please place your hand over your hearts. Thank you.
cover. Ready? Peace. Forward. Halt. Forward. Halt. Mr. Boy, got the brave. Fire, watch, shoot.
Please be seated. Yeah, let's give a round of applause to the Pipes and Drums Band and to the Color Guard. You know, I think it feels only fitting after such a rousing performance and presentation of our nation's flag to recognize Seattle firefighter Noah Byers, who was on long-term military deployment in 2024. Noah, where are you? Can you please stand and be recognized? Let's give him a round of applause for his service to our country. And right now I'd like to welcome Steve Elso to the podium to say a few remarks. Steve is the board chair of the Seattle Fire Foundation, which is sponsoring today's awards ceremony. Steve.
Hello, everyone. Well, on behalf of the entire Seattle Fire Foundation board, I'd like to tell you it's a very big honor for us to be able to sponsor the Seattle Fire Department Awards Luncheon and recognize the incredible and heroic work of the award winners that we're going to hear about today. Seattle Fire Foundation is now in our 6th year, and our volunteer board has worked very hard over the years to try to increase the magnitude of the impact that we can have on the department and some of the community partners that we support. We work closely with Chief Scoggins, his leadership team, and many others, including Deputy Chief Goins, Kristen Cox and her department, and Kim Schmanke, to try to identify priorities that we can help support that will help firefighters as they respond to calls be more effective and safer when they're going about their business, and to try to find ways to improve their overall health and wellness. There's a slide that we've put together with a partial list of some of the things that we've funded over the past few years. And we do this to give you a sense, and for everyone that has supported the donation, to understand the kind of impact that you've been able to have through the foundation on the department. Some of the more notable ones on there include the ballistic vests, which were provided, thermal imaging cameras last year, support for the behavioral health program with Kristen Cox's guidance and effort. And last year, we were very pleased to help support and launch the Rescue Watercraft program. None of this support or ability to provide these funding priorities would be possible without the support of both our individual donors and our sponsors. A number of our sponsors are actually here today and include Puget Sound Energy, made a very large donation of gas detection equipment to the department. Microsoft, which recognized us as one of their award winners in their 50th year in a campaign that they had. Aetna, who's been a longtime sponsor, 1-800-BOARD-UP Belfour, Bruce. Firewall Capital Management, and Golden Coast Construction and Restoration, a new sponsor for us this year. In addition, we'd like to also recognize the support of Live Oak Audiovisual and their donation to the foundation, as well as to Mark Wright Media, who every year shows up and does an amazing job for this event. So please join me in thanking all of these sponsors. So now my honor to introduce our next speaker, who's a native of Seattle, a Garfield graduate, as both my parents were, so I'm happy to say that. Went on to the University of Washington, where he became a first-team all-academic member of the football team nationally, and then earned his law degree at the UW as well. Longtime member of the Seattle City Council, and in 2021 was elected as the honorable mayor of the city of Seattle, Bruce Harrell.
Thank you, Steve. My voice is a little hoarse. Don't worry, no COVID, no cold, just allergies. I was gonna call in sick this morning. I realized I didn't have anyone to call, so I called myself and I said, get your butt to work. Very honored to be here in all seriousness. I want to do some thank yous before I say some substantive remarks, and there's many thank yous to go around. Steve, for your leadership, the Seattle Fire Foundation. We can't create the city that we all believe in without the foundation. Chief Scoggins and our firefighters, paramedics, dispatchers, company officers, staff, family, friends, everyone who gives back to our community. As your mayor, I'm inspired by you. I will tell you that I have many department heads as well who's never heard this voice coming out of their mayor, by the way. And I'm just going to ask that the department heads stand, because I want them to be recognized as well from other departments. Please stand, if you will. Thank you. And the reason I wanted them to be recognized is, as we face budget challenges and federal challenges to grants and all of the revenues that we receive to make our city work, it's like a finite level of resources, a pie, if you will, and we have to make some real tough decisions. I have to make some very tough decisions. I have to ask people to turn their cell phones off sometimes when I speak. In all seriousness, I have to have fun at this job of mine. That they have to lean on each other. They have to trust each other. These leaders, these cabinet members, rank and file, every city employee have to realize that we have scarcity of resources. So we have to trust that we're one family. When I talk about one Seattle, This is where it meets the road. The rubber meets the road. We rely on one another. We realize that we all want each other to succeed. I would like to ground this in a quote from John F. Kennedy. As we express our gratitude, as we are today, as we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to merely utter words, but to live by them. That means appreciation, recognizing the courage and the humility and the commitment of these fine folks in our fire department. There are about 180 award recipients, reflecting more than 180 instances of bravery and service and caring. The fire department uniformed personnel once again hit a record number of responses, 112,320. That is worthy of a The number of years in service that we're recognizing today with the 180 award recipients, the fire department totals 162 years. This is an incredible commitment to a community, and Chief Scoggins, I want to commend you on your 10-year anniversary as chief. Got catching up to do to 162, by the way, but thank you for your leadership once again. And I want to thank the professional staff of the fire department. We all can't do this work without the professional staff. You work incredibly hard behind the scenes to create new programs and initiatives. You manage the daily administrative work. This is critical towards saving lives and doing what we do. We are recognized nationally. I get the opportunity to brag to other mayors, and I'm pretty much friends with every mayor of every major city, about you, this fire department in particular. We're home to the Health One program, which now administers buprenorphine in the field to patients who are experiencing an overdose. You know, fatal overdoses declined 25% in Seattle last year. That is because of the work you are doing, saving lives. So I close by saying, you model excellence, that this whole country needs to see what we do here in Seattle. Believe it or not, I have to give a speech in a church tonight. Pray for me. But me getting up here and simply sharing words pales in comparison to the work that you do every day. If I can sit up here and speak with a hoarse voice and a fever of 102. No, I don't have a fever of 102. Just a hoarse voice. It pales in comparison to the bravery and the courage and the commitment of the firefighters and the staff and the leadership every single day. And for the spouses and partners and the families, I know, having relied on my partner, my wife, how much your sport means to them. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'll do that again. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. You know, I got to tell you, we're really happy you're here. We're happy you're here to celebrate with us, to see our folks and all the amazing work that they do each and every day. And if I don't know you, my name is Harold Scoggins, and I'm honored to be the fire chief of the Seattle Fire Department. And at our events, we have a lot of pomp and circumstance, a lot of tradition and things like that. And it's important for us to do that as we recognize traditions. But you may see some things that you may not know or understand as we're going through these things. And one thing I'll explain to you today, just to let you know how we remember those that we lost in the line of duty. When you see our department flag over here, the red flag right here, and you see all of the banners on the flag. And what those banners are, those are the names of all the Seattle firefighters we have lost in the line of duty. And that's one way for the department to always recognize at every event that we do those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice in service to others. I just thought it was important to share that with you. And I want to welcome you to the Seattle Fire Department's Awards Luncheon. You know, today is a culmination of a lot of efforts, a lot of time, a lot of hours coming together. And that's really important. And we have a lot of important folks in the room that we want to make sure we recognize and acknowledge. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. I'm going to talk about a few of our programs that I'm proud of that launched in 2024. And then while I'm talking, I really want to keep you busy. We got some slides rolling on some things that happened in 2024 because it was a really busy year. So Mayor Harrell, Deputy Mayor Burgess, Public Safety Chief Walton Anderson, we want to thank you for being here today and celebrating this event with us. It means a lot to us. We appreciate your presence and all of you being here. So thank you for being here. And as the mayor mentioned, we have a number of my peer department heads in the room. That's one thing I try to do is reach out and invite a few people to a few different things. And we have a number of them in the room. And these department heads, just like the mayor said, they keep the wheels turning in the city. And these relationships are really important. So I would like to thank all of my peers, all of my department directors from being here in the room with us today, being here to celebrate with us. Thank you very much. And to make this day happen, lots of work went into making this day happen. You know, we have an awards committee, and the way the whole system works, and what makes this so special is all of these awards are nominated by their peers. And all those awards go to the awards committee, and they have to do the hard work in going through every single award. So I want to thank our awards committee, our public affairs team, our services team, our human resources department, our SFD administrative staff. Most importantly, I want to thank Kim Schmanke, our public affairs director. Kim has a big lift in making all this happen and putting the script together, making sure everybody is where they're supposed to be. So give a round of applause to all those folks. So give Kim a round of applause. And the Embassy Suites. Every year, the Embassy Suites have opened up their doors to us and allowed us to use this space and helped us make it to what we need it to be. So great partnerships in the community, that's really important, as well as our Seattle Fire Foundation, as Steve mentioned, and some of the accomplishments that we've had in the last 6 years. You know, a lot of the things that we do, those ideas that just come up from our firefighters, a lot of times we don't have a pathway to actually make that happen, and it's because of our Fire Foundation that we're able to make those things happen. So to our Fire Foundation, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, 2024 was a busy year, as the mayor mentioned. We broke another record, responding to over 112,000 responses. That's a lot. It's about 80,000 EMS responses. It's about 30,000 fire responses, and a lot of other responses. And if you live and work in the downtown, you probably hear our sirens quite often. It's a busy time for the Seattle Fire Department. Our fire alarm center, where all these calls are triaged. Over 112,000 calls, over 200,000 calls they received at the fire alarm center. And they go through their protocols, and they have a lot of different directions that they will, move these calls to. We now have the nurse line that we launched in February of 2022. We sent about 7,000 calls over there. Our mobile integrated health program with Health One, we direct dispatched over 1,100 calls there. And all those other calls are going out into the field. Those dispatchers are doing an absolutely amazing job in a high-stress environment. That's important for us to acknowledge and recognize all the work that they're doing. So it's not getting slower. It's only getting busier. But even in the middle of that, we have done some new and innovative things that we're just so proud of. In 2024, we were able to launch our rescue watercraft program with 2 of those rescue watercraft, with a 3rd right now being built, to partner with our rescue swimmers so we can get to a person in need when they're in distress in a timely manner. And you may ask yourself, well, how often does that happen? Oh, we forgot to take this tape down. We lost that. We'll take care of that. I put it there. I should have took it down. Oh, thanks, Chief. You may ask yourself how often this happens. In 2024, our rescue swimmers splashed and hit the water 19 times. 15 rescues. That's making a difference. 15 rescues. They gave folks a chance to survive. They all didn't survive, but we gave them a chance. So partnering that program with our rescue watercraft is absolutely important for this community when you look at all the waterfront that we have. You know, I can still remember when the idea came up of our rescue swimmer program. I see firefighter Snow in the room. I saw retired Lieutenant Kearns in the room when they came to my office and talked to me about building a rescue swimmer program. Did we know we would eventually have rescue watercraft? No. But are we making a difference for the community? Absolutely. Mid-year in 2024, we also got some very important legislation across the finish line with our vacant building legislation. And many of you in the community, you saw we were having a lot of fires. We were having a lot of fires in these vacant buildings. And thank you to Mayor Harrell and the City Council on this effort being led by Councilmember Kettle. We got that across the finish line, and that's really important. And in the last 17 months, we have been able to work with our fire prevention team and bring down 58 buildings in the city. What's most important is the legislation gave us the leverage, gave us that little push, but we haven't had to use the legislation one time. But we brought down 58 buildings, and we've been responsible for guiding the remodeling and bringing up the code 34 additional buildings. What that does is it makes the community safer. It creates better and safer environments for our firefighters. That's really important for us. That's important, and that's a big accomplishment. Thank you, Mayor Harrell, for signing that legislation. That's really important. And in 2024, as the mayor mentioned, we launched our buprenorphine pilot, and that was at the end of February in 2024. Since we launched that pilot, we have now served exactly 101 patients in need. Some of those patients have received one dose, and some have received multiple doses. But that's 101 people having a second chance to change their lives. And I think this is best shared by a letter we received late in March. And I want to read you a letter of a person who actually received buprenorphine from our Health 99 team. It says, "Dear Greg," who's one of our case managers who works on the Health 99 team, "I am writing you today to express my gratitude for all that you do. For me alone, you and your team saved my life twice within a single week." And what that means is that person went into cardiac arrest twice in a single week. 911 was called, and we went and revived them twice. I had gotten to a place in time in life where I became hopeless. I knew using the drugs that I was using was rolling the dice, and the potential and very real consequences were of no particular concern to me at the time. Not only did you revive me back to life, you let me know that you cared. And that's important. That's the impact that our Health 1 and Health 99 team has. They let people know that they cared. You let me know that you cared, offered me support, and ultimately gave me hope again. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for you, and I cannot thank you enough. This letter was written on March 31st. He overdosed in mid-February, twice in 1 week. Our Health 99 team got to them, and what they do is they bring them in the back of the unit. They talk to them about changing their lives. If they're willing to commit, then we have buprenorphine, and we give them that, and then we get them in the place where they can actually make a difference. This is a letter we received. This is the handwriting. If you're a member of our Health 1 team or our Health 99 team, please stand up and be acknowledged, because the work you do is important. Thank you. You know, I'm fortunate. I meet with John Ehrenfeld, who's our mobile integrated health manager, and I get to check in every couple of weeks on the impact that we're having. A lot of folks don't get to hear the impact that we're having, and it's very real. But none of this is done alone. Our partnerships matter. Our Director of Human Services is in the room, Tanya Kim. Tanya's team staffs, all of our case managers. We've been partnering together since 2019. By the end of the year, we'll have 10 case managers. Not only are they working on Health 99 and Health 1, they do case management, they do follow-up. We have a nurse practitioner that's a part of the team now. So without partnerships with my peers, we wouldn't be able to do all of these different things. So thank you, Tanya, for your partnership. That's important. Now, switching gears a little bit, it's important to acknowledge folks who help us. Many of you know on January 29th, one of our firefighters was in a really tragic collision and changed his life. And that's important to note. But he's here today. And he's here today because of the work of East Pierce Fire and Rescue. East Pierce got on scene, responded in an effective time, extricated him from the vehicle, and provided ALS services for him. So Joe can be here today. Joe, would you stand up and be acknowledged by the room? And it's also important to acknowledge the East Pierce Fire and Rescue team that extricated him, that provided ALS and paramedic services to him. And I would like to acknowledge Justin Edwards, Renee Schaller, Aguayo, Michael Pence, Jack Coburn, Zach Brooks, Carl Kuiper, Sam Rogers, Craig Ryan, Spencer Byfield, and Mason Lewis. Would all of you stand up so we can say thank you from the Seattle Fire Department? Thank you. You know, as firefighters, we know how this goes. This is what we respond on. We know how bad these collisions are, and we know how having effective first responders can make a difference and save a life. The day of that accident, I talked to East Pierce Fire and Rescue's chief. He called me and said, "Hey, chief, we got one of your firefighters. We're taking good care of him, and we're going to get him to the hospital." The morning of. And I had plans that day, and normally my plans lead me to downtown Seattle and going into my office. My plans that day made me make a right and head down Interstate 5 and go to the hospital and see how one of our firefighters were doing. So you made a difference. We appreciate you. You know, as I turn the program over to Mark Wright, as he mentioned, he's been doing this with us since 2016, and Assistant Chief Brian Hastings, the talent, want to make sure, you know, I just want to say, I want to express my sincerest thanks and appreciation to all of the men and women of the Seattle Fire Department, our sworn staff and our professional staff, because everything you do make a difference. Every role you serve in the organization makes a difference. You have an impact each and every day on community, and I just wanted to say thank you for serving others. Thank you, and we appreciate you being here, and now we're going to get the program going.
Chief Scoggins, thank you so much for your leadership, and it's also been an honor being your friend all these years as well. It's always incredible to hear the stories of the Seattle Fire Department, and it's exciting to hear what's been happening over the past year. It really sets the tone for what you're about to hear next. I'm joined on stage by Assistant Chief of Operations Brian Hastings. He is as close to a perfect man as you can get, with a flawless sense of timing and an impeccable intellect that is unrivaled. These sticky notes were not in my script last night, Brian.
Mark, if you're accusing me of planting my accurate bio on those stickers in my own handwriting, why, I'd say we're being set up.
Okay, well, last year it was the mustache thing. This year, nice job. Okay, Mr. Perfect, thank you for sharing the stage with us again this year. So today we're going to start by recognizing members of the community who, through their actions, have changed the conditions for the better for the Seattle Fire Department's work. Unfortunately, some of our recipients were not able to join us today. Their names and award categories have been on the screen prior to the start of the ceremony. We will make sure that they receive their awards. And Chief Scoggins, I believe you're going to kick us off by announcing the Community Service Award.
I am. So for our first award recipient, serving community is what these two individuals are all about. Larry Winkler and Johnny Bell have been teaching bystander CPR for the Seattle Fire's Medic 2 program for most of its existence. Now in its 53rd year, we estimate Medic 2 instructors have taught more than 1 million residents CPR here in the Seattle community. Johnny and Larry have certainly conducted many of these classes. You guys don't look a day over like 29. Sure you've been around that long? We could not think of two better people to receive Seattle Fire's Community Service Award.
Medic 2 has a ton of awesome instructors, but we do really have two instructors that stand out in the sense of their experience and their passion for making sure people get the best possible CPR education, and that is, of course, Johnny Bell and Larry Winkler.
Hi, my name is Johnny Bell. I'm a retired fire lieutenant with the Renton Regional Fire Authority, and I'm a Seattle Fire Department Medic 2 instructor.
My name is Larry Winkler. I lived in Seattle all my life, and what got me started in the fire department was an ad in the West Seattle Herald. Kids were all grown up and out there, so I decided to go down to the station and see if they'd take me. And guess what? They took me. Since the late 70s, I've been a CPR instructor for the Seattle Fire Department.
Being able to do something that I have a passion for gets me up every morning. And I look forward to be able to go out into our community and helping people do something that's going to be rewarding for them as well as it is for me. So I'm always excited to do it, and I'll probably do it for the rest of my life as long as I'm able to do so.
One of my favorite parts of the job is meeting the people and helping them out and try to get them to do CPR the best that they can.
So in the last year, we've really tried to grow the Medic 2 program by bringing in a ton of new instructors, and Johnny and Larry have really stepped up to help provide those new instructors with education and training and making sure that they are the best that they can be. They've both stepped up as leaders and used their decades of knowledge to help, make this new generation of instructors as knowledgeable as possible. It would be impossible to try and quantify the amount of people that they have trained in CPR. I mean, Larry's been doing this with Medic 2 for 50 years, Johnny, I think about 40 years. So imagine in all that time, the number of classes, and then multiply that by the number of students, they potentially have saved countless lives by providing CPR education to people.
I'm amazed that I'm getting an award for something that I have a passion for doing, helping to save people's lives and giving them another opportunity to live with their families. That brings great joy to me.
To be recognized by my students and have them send a letter to the Seattle Fire Department is awesome.
Not only are Johnny and Larry extremely dedicated to Medic 2 and educating their community in CPR, but they're passionate, they're knowledgeable, they're public servants, and that's why they deserve this Community Service Award.
You guys can head out that way. So congratulations to Johnny and Larry. Job well done.
All right, our next category is the Fire Chief's Medal for CPR at a rescue and extrication. We're pleased to recognize the State Department of Transportation Incident Response Team members Craig DeWitt and John Perez, and Washington State Patrol Troopers George Nunez Canizales and Marco Martinez. Last March, these four were the first public safety personnel on the scene of a single vehicle accident on Interstate 5 at Mercer Street. Recognizing the driver was in cardiac arrest, the troopers pulled him from the car and started CPR. Craig grabbed the AED from his truck, hooked up the patient, and delivered a shock. John set up traffic control to protect the scene. Troopers continued compressions until Seattle Fire got there and took over. Acting Captain Alicia Phillips is here to accept the award on behalf of the state troopers. Our thanks to each of you for stepping in for this patient with your life-saving skills.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
While on duty at the Ballard Pool last October, Seattle Parks and Recreation lifeguards Ender Hibbing and Dinko DeForest witnessed a swimmer having a medical emergency. After removing the swimmer from the water, the two realized that the swimmer was not breathing and began giving CPR. An AED was available at the pool, and the lifeguards used it to deliver not one, but two shocks prior to Seattle Fire arriving. For their quick actions, we are awarding Ender and Dinko with the Fire Chief's Medal. Congratulations, you two.
Now for the Fire Chief's Medal that goes to Zayden Andrews. Last April, when high school student Zayden Andrews was returning from lunch, he encountered an unconscious and unresponsive person on the ground. Zayden called 911, providing fire dispatchers with critical info. Dispatchers asked Zayden to assess the man's breathing and advised to roll the patient on their back and begin CPR. Zayden was calm as he relayed the instructions to other bystanders and insisted they start chest compressions. By the time fire crews got there, the patient had regained consciousness due to Zayden and others' intervention. Seattle Fire Health One team was able to engage from there. An amazing job, Zayden. Thank you so much.
And he's 15. And he's 15.
Nice job.
So we're doing a little recruiting here.
Yeah,
He's only 15, so I'm
15
making
years
sure
old.
he knows there's an opportunity.
That's amazing.
Our next recipients of the Fire Chief's Medal are John Kim and Silas Highfield. Those who were operating the vessel Cheyenne Arrow when they heard a person yelling for help on the waterfront near Pier 46. They investigated and found a man clinging to a piling under the pier. They threw a life ring in his direction, but he would not grab it. Eventually, the man let go of the piling and ended up face down in the water. John and Silas then called 911, which initiated a water rescue response. While units were on the way, John and Silas pulled the now unresponsive patient onto the vessel. Fireboat 2 arrived at approximately this time and transitioned the patient over to the fireboat to start CPR. Without John and Silas's intervention, this person would have had little chance of survival. Thank you for your actions.
Good job, guys. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Next, we have a Fire Chief's Medal for CPR performed at a Costco. On October 30th, obstetrician Dr. Jeannie Chan and nurse midwife Courtney Croney observed that a man was unconscious while shopping at Costco in Seattle. Recognizing that something was wrong, they immediately stepped in to save his life. Confirming the man did not have a pulse, they started chest compressions and called 911. They continued giving CPR until Seattle fire crews got there to take over and transport him to the hospital. Courtney is here to receive the Fire Chief's Medal. While Dr. Chan could not be here, the man that she and Courtney resuscitated is. And we are so honored to have Richard Wark and his wife Cindy Moulton join us on stage to celebrate Richard's recovery. Another round of applause for a life saved.
Our next Fire Chiefs medalist is Marcus Brown. Last March, a customer at Outdoor Emporium accidentally discharged his holstered handgun and shot himself in the leg, causing major bleeding. Marcus leaned into his Army training to place a tourniquet on the man's leg to help control the bleeding. Marcus acted without regard for his own safety. We're impressed by your courage and your actions, Marcus. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for making a difference.
Next, we have a Fire Chief's Medal for an off-duty rescue at a light rail station. While riding Link Light Rail in December, City of Everett firefighter Henry Moore encountered a member of the public in a significant state of distress. This person had self-inflicted injuries to their neck and wrist and had jumped down onto the light rail tracks. Without regard for his own safety, firefighter Moore jumped down onto the tracks, removed the person from danger, and started life-saving measures by stopping the blood loss and bandaging the person's extensive wounds. Your actions are emblematic of our nation's firefighters being first responders, even when off-duty. Congratulations, Fire Chief Medalist, Firefighter Moore.
Send my best to Chief Domenico.
What was that?
Send my best to Chief Domenico.
Will do.
Our next award is the Customer Service Award. Now we'd like to recognize a member of the Seattle Fire Department with the Customer Service of the Year Award. This is given to a non-uniform member who has made a significant contribution to customer service in 2024. Manny Romero is our Wellness and Fitness Coordinator and praised for his knowledge, collaborative approach, and proactive work to improve the health and safety of firefighters and recruit candidates. Let's watch the video.
I'm Manny Romero, Health and Fitness Coordinator at Seattle Fire Department. I oversee mostly our new hire programs, which includes fire prep and recruit prep. I also help develop some programs and initiatives around health and fitness to help just improve the overall well-being of our members. My favorite part of being a health and fitness coordinator is the amount of challenges that come with it. It forces me to tap in a lot of different skill sets. And then we get a lot of positive feedback from the participants that go through those programs and eventually go into recruit training. And then on the back end, they'll give us their feedback on how it helped them prepare. So, that's been pretty rewarding to see.
It is very evident when you go to stations that you can see how much Manny cares about our members' well-being. He listens to members, he wants to know what our members want, and he works hard to make that happen. He's just joyful and just always so pleasant to be around, and if he says that he's gonna do something, he's going to figure out how to get it done. It's just above and beyond what I think anybody could have ever expected.
What I'll just say is, it feels good getting recognized. I don't think I'd be able to have the success with the programs that we would have if it wasn't for some of the folks that I get to work with. I think that's been a key contributor to, how we've been able to develop our programs and get the success that we've been able to find in recent years.
I think Manny Romero is beyond deserving of the Customer Service Award.
During a National Night Out event at Station 41, firefighter Mark Hauge had a conversation with a member of the Carlton Park Garden Club on the less than attractive landscaping outside the station. This conversation created a movement that blossomed into a community project to design and build a gorgeous garden space in front of the station. The Carlton Park Garden Club handled the project management, grant writing, and the garden design. Rainbow of Magnolia Landscaping donated approximately $10,000 of labor. It has resulted in more than paver bricks, artwork, shrubs, and flowers. It's a gathering place that shows what true community connection is about. Thank you, Carlton Park Garden Club and members of the Magnolia community.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next up, we have a certificate of recognition for an apartment fire response. In the early morning hours of June 1st, a fire started on the first floor of Melanie Herrig's apartment complex. It quickly extended to all 3 floors of the complex. Melanie woke up to the sounds of the 3rd floor hallway fire alarm and people yelling outside. She looked through her door's peephole to find the door to the unit across from hers was open. Smoke and fire was now extending into the hallway. Melanie opened her door, went across the hall without any protection. She shut that door. She then grabbed her dog and got out of the building. Because of her exposure, Seattle fire medics checked out Melanie to make sure she was okay. So Seattle Fire often talks about the importance of shutting your door to prevent a fire, and it's so important. Without Melanie's quick thinking and decisive action, the outcome of this fire could have been a lot worse. This action, which ensured a clean hallway, allowed firefighters to quickly get there and put the fire out. Great job, Melanie. You saved untold damage from fire and smoke, and everyone got out safely.
While piloting the tour boat Good Time 2 last year, Argosy Captain John Darmati noticed a paddleboarder about a quarter-mile offshore near Lincoln Park. On the return trip, he saw the paddleboard, but no one on it. The captain diverted the vessel to investigate and saw a person struggling in the water. After initiating man-overboard procedures, crew members Kurt Herman, Ellie Misko, and Oscar Cruz worked to bring the paddleboarder on board. Thanks to the captain's attentiveness and the swift actions of the crew, a potential tragedy was prevented. Well done.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
Now we have a certificate of recognition for Fire Station 25 alerting system. This is a really good example of what the chief was talking about earlier, about behind-the-scenes improvements that really improve the quality of the department. This certificate is being awarded to Rachel Dreyer from the city's Finance and Administrative Services Department and Carlos Chavez Volando from the Information Technology Department. He's got fans in the audience. So for years, it was believed the project to rebuild the alerting system at Station 25 to separate the lights and bells would be too expensive and complicated. To separate the lights and bells means that the lights and bells would only be activated in the affected rooms of the firefighters and not the whole station. However, Rachel and Carlos undertook this project and demonstrated their willingness and ability to create really novel solutions. This has improved firefighter sleep quality and quantity, which supports their overall health and wellness at work and at home. This impact cannot be overstated. Rachel, Carlos, thanks so much.
No, lady. So to give the room perspective, Engine 25 runs well over 4,000 calls a year, and the ladder truck well over 3,000 calls a year, and the 8 car well over 6,000 calls a year. So it may not seem like a big deal to separate the lights and the alarms in the different rooms that we have. It's a big deal. It may be the difference of getting 1 hour of sleep that night versus 3 hours of sleep that night, because it's a very busy station. And we were told consistently it couldn't be done until they took it on and they got it done. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
This next award category is one of our highest honors for the meritorious actions under non-hazardous conditions. It is given to the Seattle Fire member who operates well outside of their regular responsibilities. Today, we are recognizing Lieutenant Pierre Guyweiler with a Meritorious Achievement Award for his exceptional commitment to the Walter Kilgore Seattle Firefighters Honor Guard. Pierre's homesick today, and we hope he's watching, but certainly he's got his young but large son standing in for him. Pierre stepped into the role of Honor Guard Commander after firefighter Matt Runty tragically passed away in 2021. Those are big shoes to fill, and he has done it. He has been steadfast in leading the Honor Guard's mission of bringing full honors to both line of duty and non-line of duty deaths. As you can see by today's presentation, their presence brings such an honor to this event. Thank you, Pierre, and get well.
Thanks for The next award is the Fire Chief Claude Harris Diversity Award. And Lieutenant Brigado could not be here with us today, but accepting on his behalf is Deputy Chief John Goins. So one of our newest annual awards is the Fire Chief Claude Harris Diversity Award, named after retired Fire Chief Harris. It is given to an individual who has advanced racial equity and social justice within the Seattle Fire Department. The recruit training calendar made it impossible for Lieutenant Brigado to be in person to accept this award. They're up in North Bend today. They're doing a lot of fires with the recruits today, so he needed to be there. However, we hope he is watching the live stream. Hopefully he gets a lunch break. Chief, hopefully he gets a lunch break. And we recognize him for the Fire Chief Claude Harris Diversity Award. Let's watch the video.
I'm Edwin Brigado. I'm a lieutenant with the Seattle Fire Department. Been with Seattle now for 26 years. Currently assigned to the training department. We're a renowned department, and it's extremely rewarding, just to be a part of that, to wear the patch on my shoulder. And I'm extremely proud to just bring that, to the new recruits that come in and see if that rubs off on them, so that, when they come out to operations as well, they have that same feeling. Part of this whole thing is recognizing that we all come from a different background. We all have different experiences and perspectives. So I started the Seattle Fire Department Ethnic Minorities Alliance. There's a lot of groups and smaller groups that maybe don't have representation, or a place to just kind of congregate and talk about issues that they may be having. We have to recognize that and accept that and learn how to work together. And that was part of why this the term alliance was used. But yeah, I'm very, very proud of it. I'm super excited to see where we go from here.
His creation of the Seattle Fire Department Ethnic Minorities Alliance showcases that dedication in fostering a inclusive and supportive environment, as well as ensuring equitable opportunities for all firefighters. His just compassion on the day-to-day, his willingness to work hard without complaining. I love him like family, and I'm just proud to nominate him and to be here speaking on his behalf. And that's why I nominated Lieutenant Edwin Brigado for the Claude Harris Award.
All right, next up we have an administrative citation and certificate of recognition for the buprenorphine program. In the past few years, opioid use has increased the number of suspected overdose runs that Seattle Fire responds to. It's been frustrating for firefighters to respond but not have a mechanism to interrupt the cycle of addiction. Last year, in partnership with the University of Washington, Washington State Department of Health, Seattle Fire was authorized for its firefighter EMTs and paramedics to administer buprenorphine in the field. DOH's Don Felt and Katie Holstein, along with the UW's Dr. Kaylin Folkley, who I've had the honor of interviewing for a podcast. She's amazing. I'm a huge fan. I could go on and on. Dr. Kira Gressman and Dr. Michael Sayer. These folks have been instrumental in the development of this first-of-its-kind initiative in our state. Seattle Fire's post-overdose response team, led by John Ehrenfeld, and HSD's Riley DeHogue and Greg Jensen, have done amazing work to operationalize this for Seattle Fire Department. Together, these award recipients have seen the opportunity, worked through the policy challenges, and championed innovation to address a true crisis in our community. How do we solve the drug crisis? This is part of the solution. Congratulations.
Great job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a special shout out to Riley, because Riley's been on the team since day one. So day one we launched. So I'm always asking John, is Riley okay? Because you can't imagine what it's like to respond to overdoses every single day, multiple times a day. So this is very tough work. So we appreciate what you're doing.
In 2024, significant efforts were made to address a growing problem in the city: vacant buildings. When vacant buildings experience fires or fall out of compliance with the fire code, they become a danger to neighbors and responding firefighters. Several members of the Fire Prevention Division were successful in developing and getting city legislation passed that provides the department with more options to address the vacant buildings that pose imminent risk. Our appreciation to the mayor and the members of council for their support. Seattle Fire also worked with the Seattle Department of Construction and Inspections, SDCI, to expedite permitting for property owners readily seeking to demolish buildings that are deemed dangerous to firefighters and the public. Today, we want to recognize from Seattle Fire Deputy Chief Deborah Sudi, Karen Grove, Dan Flores, Lauren Foster, Lieutenant Dan Jones, and Sheila Kelly. And from SDCI, Stephen Hinch, Elliot Fitzgerald, Rachel Freeman, Nakia Howard, Jason Shirley, and Tyson Brown. Thank you for your roles in improving the city's response to vacant buildings.
Our next award is Employee of the Year. Employee of the Year is awarded to a professional staff member who carries out their responsibilities in an exemplary fashion. This year's recipient is Kristen Cox, our behavioral health coordinator. I appreciate you checking in on me from time to time. In her few short years working with Seattle Fire, she's transformed our peer support program to offer mindfulness training to enhance performance, expand suicide prevention and intervention, and more. Let's watch the video.
I'm Kristen Cox, and I'm the Behavioral Health Coordinator for Seattle Fire. It's my job to ensure that the peer support team has everything they need to take care of everyone, and then also to support the mental wellness of the entire department. The work that people in this department do is so mentally strenuous and at times incredibly stressful and sometimes even tragic. Being able to support themselves and provide just as much compassion to themselves as they do for all of the people in the community and the people they work with, that's really important to me, to make sure that they're taking care of themselves just as much as they're taking care of everyone else. They have a tendency to let themselves fall off the bottom of the list, and I'm not okay with that.
She took what was already a good program, peer support and CISM, and has just every year continues to build it. Not only does she have such a positive attitude and engaging nature, but I think she's been really great at harnessing the abilities within the fire department and inspiring people to be part of this program.
Every single person that votes for any of these programs by supporting or participating really is investing in the entire culture, and I sincerely appreciate that.
For being such a fine ambassador for this program, both within the fire department and regionally, and for her great positive attitude and the way she connects with people, Kristen Cox is very deserving of this award as Civilian Employee of the Year.
Thank you, Kristen. Great job.
You know, I had a behavioral health need in my own family, and I reached out to Kristen, and she referred, man, I'm getting emotional about this, but she referred one of our family members to a professional, and it's been a godsend, so thank you. You know, as a civilian, there are a lot of acronyms that I just don't get, and POG conversion is another one. But it's worthy of an administrative citation, so put your seatbelts on. In 2024, the department's Policies and Operating Guidelines POG Advisory Committee took on the challenge of completely revamping Seattle Fire's voluminous reference document. Firefighters know and are familiar with the POG. Rebecca Gardner and Deputy Chief John Goins undertook the massive effort of converting all of these policies from one software platform to the new platform. This work began with the full reformatting of over 1,000 pages of text, images, charts, and other information, then moved on to a successful rollout on the new software. The POG is now a lot easier to use and update, and tracking changes will be simpler for firefighters and administrative staff. Great job.
Good job. Thank you, Rebecca.
Dan Whipple may receive his paycheck from the city's IT department, but we regard him as one of Seattle Fire's own.
Congratulations.
Today, we have the pleasure of recognizing Dan with a Distinguished Service Award for his extraordinary contributions to the Seattle Fire Department. Over the course of his career, Dan has been the cornerstone of the SFD Computer-Aided Dispatch Program. Through his initiative, knowledge, and devotion, he has greatly improved Seattle Fire's ability to respond to emergencies quickly and with appropriate resources. He has been instrumental in the development of programs to support dispatching when virtual and online resources fail, resulting in seamless service to the public during times of infrastructure failure. Dan's looming retirement is also leaving big shoes to fill, whoever comes in behind him to support Seattle Fire. But we wish you and Lola, who work for SFD as well, all the best.
Now we have sort of a I didn't know that award. This is kind of cool. Administrative citation for food truck inspection. Fun fact, did you know that Seattle has the most food trucks in the state? That might not be a surprise, but I didn't realize Seattle Fire has a role permitting and inspecting food trucks, which is kind of important, right? So based on feedback from operators, Seattle Fire and other King County departments have created a new program where fire agencies accept the inspections performed by other agencies in the county, so they don't have to duplicate the work. This program has done so well, it's now been adopted across the state of Washington. The fire department division led much of the work to make this happen, including the outreach, the training, onboarding, updating the checklist for the latest fire codes in coordination with other jurisdictions, designing inspection status stickers that are displayed on the trucks, and so much more. Here today to accept their award for this incredible work, Karen Grove, Dan Flores, Ken Brulette, Franklin Miles, retired Captain Ted Powell, retired Lieutenant Tom Hoyne, and Lieutenant Keith Wyatt. Stefan Reynaud, Teresa No, Lieutenant Chris Cornett, and Captain Nicholas Crosser were not able to be here. Thanks to all of these folks, we will get their awards to them. Congratulations.
Our next award is for Firefighter of the Year. See, it was important to let that happen so he can take all this in. Firefighter of the Year is someone who has a high regard for customer service, dedication to excellence and innovation, and serves as a role model for others. If you're at any type of special event where logistics is needed, and we do a lot of those in the Seattle Fire Department, his face is one you'll always see. These events require long hours of coordination and setup before the event begins, and we are pleased to honor firefighter Scotty Kallstrom as the 2024 Firefighter of the Year. Let's watch the video.
I'm Scott Kallstrom. I'm the driver of Ladder 198 shift. I love being downtown and love working on the ladder truck and love being part of the hazmat team. There's a lot of responsibility being the driver, I think anywhere in the city, but the discipline of being a hazmateer, working downtown, being on one of the busiest trucks in the city, I really like the job. I like the crew that I work with, and we work together very well.
I think that just hard work is in the guys' DNA. We actually have a joke at Station 10, and it's made its way across all the shifts that whatever obscure job that we can think of, Scotty's probably done it for 5 years or so. We like to poke fun at him for it, but I think it is a true testament to just how knowledgeable he is.
Being part of the logistics committee, myself and a handful of other folks here at SFD do all the special events. We do the prep for them. We provide meals, services, whatever needs to happen.
People show up to work events at Seafair or New Year's at the Needle. The list of events goes on, and it takes coordination to get all those things into place. If you peek behind that curtain, Scott Kallstrom has got his hand in all of that.
I belong to the Washington State Task Force. I went to Maui 2 years ago for the Lahaina wildfires. I was a ComSpec there. Hope to be on the team and be able to be of service in the future.
you know, as good of a mentor as he is, he's a better friend, and there's just not a doubt in my mind that the Seattle Fire Department is a better place because of Scott Kallstrom.
I'd next like to welcome up 3 groups of people who worked on the standard operating guidelines for natural gas, general fire, and general command in 2024. SOGs are the department's playbook for strategies and tactics at a particular type of incident. Gone are the days of arriving at an incident and deciding, if you were first in, what you knew or what you wanted to do at that time. Think of it this way. The ball would be hiked, and the only order you'd give to the receivers would get open. It was chaos. It worked most of the time. We were really good firefighters, but it wasn't a way to do business. Now, with everyone knowing the plan, we can execute our actions with the 50 members we are setting to a structure fire without duplicating efforts or wandering into bigger risk. I'm amazed to hear radio and realize we are seamlessly deploying the 2nd and 3rd and 4th engines and first 2 trucks without hesitation. And publishing these SOGs has not been easy because firefighters don't always like how things are, but they especially hate change. The gauntlet of change has got to be walked by whomever dares to challenge the norm. Today, we're recognizing those that have dared. For those that have worked on the natural gas SOG, we want to thank Lieutenant Allison Fawcett, Captain Greg Reichland, Captain Robert Hofflin, Lieutenant Ryan Nash, Firefighter Jordan Legan, Firefighter Dispatcher Hilton Alman. For the General Command SOG, we'd like to thank Battalion Chief Dominic Battistelli, Captain Greg Reichland, and Lieutenant Ryan Klang. And for the General Fire SOG, we want to thank Battalion Chief Dominic Battistelli, Firefighter Nicholas Lyons, Firefighter Michael Mahawald, Firefighter Josh Materi, Firefighter Paramedic Josh Akins, Lieutenants Jason Newberry, and Lieutenant Mike Wagner. Thank you very much for updating those SOGs.
Good job. Thank you. Good job.
For this same program, we're also recognizing Captain Chris Bamer with a Distinguished Service Award for all that he has done as manager of the SOG program. In 2020, as a probationary lieutenant, he accepted the role and has continued to lead the group as his career has progressed. He oversees the SOG supervisors and SOG leads that are assigned to develop new or revised SOGs. He's instrumental in leading and engaging with the author group and other members to develop multimedia for each new and revised SOG. This is a large body of work, with 2 to 3 SOGs, 2 to 3 new SOGs, and 2 to 3 revised SOGs produced annually. For reference, it takes about 200 hours to publish a single SOG. I've had many Teams meetings with Chris on weekends and evenings, all with his young children and his wife waiting for him to get off the call with me. I imagine I'm not real popular with the fam, but they've got a lot to be proud of with their dad. His commitment is profound. Chris, thank you for your incredible work.
All right, next up is admin citation, citywide HR payroll system adoption. Again, behind the scenes, but super important. We want to get paid on time. In 2024, the City of Seattle adopted the new Workday payroll system. In the year plus leading up to the adoption, the Seattle Fire payroll and HR teams had to invest a significant amount of time on the project to convey our department's unique needs. After kind of a rough go live in September and in the following months, they have continued to work tirelessly on the project, including nights, weekends, and holidays. Their dedication to support our members' needs is admirable. Our appreciation to Jessica DeCione, Krista Williams, Dory Towler, Hannah Costin, Sarah Lee, and Chris Santos. Congratulations. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Jessica, and thank you for coming. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Dory.
Up next is our category of accommodation for hazardous actions. The first award is for firefighters Sam Wooston and Ken Steppen. A year ago, both were part of a fire response to the 1700 block of Summit Avenue. One of the teams inside the structure had located several residents inside and moved them to a balcony until it was safe to remove them. On the outside, Ladder 10 Team Bravo, Wooston, and Steppen spotted a person in a window with black smoke pouring above the victim's head. In order to get them, they had to get past a lock gate and carry a 28-foot ladder up another ladder in this very narrow space. They did this quickly, and after making the first rescue, managed to move the ladder down the building, rescuing additional victims on that same side of the building. Their quick and decisive actions under extreme conditions were crucial in saving lives. Great work, gentlemen.
Next is a commendation for a hazardous situation, the Furman Avenue East Water Rescue. So last September, Engine 17 responded to a water rescue at the Waterside apartment building on Furman Avenue East. A man had reportedly fallen between two boats moored about 4 feet apart and had gone beneath the surface. Upon arrival, Captain Robert Hoffland made multiple breath hold dives to locate the victim. Searching in approximately 20 feet of water and operating under boats, around pilings, bumpers, rope lines, and other hazards, Captain Hoffland located the victim and safely delivered him to the surface, where members began CPR and transported the patient to the hospital. Captain Hoffland demonstrated quickness, professionalism, and mastery of skill in this rescue. Aren't you glad we have people like this on the department? Well done.
Next, I would like to recognize Officer of the Year and invite Captain J.M. Walker to the podium. Company officers are responsible for providing direction, support, and guidance to their crews every day. They're the ones ensuring the department responds to emergencies quickly and safely. They are constantly serving the needs of their crew and the needs of the community. Captain Walker inspires those he leads and sets the tone for the Rescue One Company by modeling hard work, compassion, and integrity. Let's watch the video.
I am Jimmy Walker, and I have the distinct honor of being the captain of Rescue Company 1. I've been in the Seattle Fire Department for a little over 26 years. Rescue Company 1 responds citywide to all major structural fires and technical rescue emergencies. Being the captain of the company has hands down been one of the most challenging and exciting times in my career. The Seattle Fire Department has given me some incredible opportunities. I am extremely grateful for this career.
He's an incredible individual. I think ultimately he's an outstanding leader. Some of the ways that he demonstrates that is through his ability to coach and mentor not only the guys on his crew, but other firefighters in Seattle. He really values honoring those who came before us and building that culture, and realizes it's a living thing, and he has to, instill in our guys that we have to take care of what was given to us and make it better for those coming after us.
When Chief Scoggins called me, I thought he was calling me about something else. And I thought I was going to get in trouble. I'm extremely grateful that someone or some people thought enough of me to nominate me for the award.
His ability to influence through his mentorship and coaching and his calm and tactical proficiency on the fire ground are just some of the reasons why I think Captain Walker is completely deserving of Officer of the Year.
You got to take this in.
Last May, firefighter Kenny McQuichek was gathering his gear at Fire Station 6 ahead of a special event when he was alerted by a child yelling "fire" just outside the station's back gate. He rushed to investigate and saw 2 other children, as well as black smoke coming from the front door of an apartment that was 20 yards away from the station. He directed the children to stand out of harm's way, donned his gear, and notified members of the station who were being dispatched to another run. That unit got diverted to the fire. Driven to determine if there were more people inside, he entered the apartment with a pump can to search for victims and control the fire. Everyone got out safely. Thank you for recognizing the danger and jumping into action, Kenny. Really impressive.
All right, this next award recognizes Captain Craig Warren, firefighters David Wyant, Jason Trapp, and Urosh Lukic from Ladder 9 and Rescue 1, firefighter Julio Vargas for their actions at a fire last June. So here's the backstory. At this fire, Ladder 9 located a victim who had jumped from the 2nd floor and dragged him away from the hazard, bringing him to paramedics. They then heard a woman calling for help, raised a ladder into heavy smoke, and climbed into the smoke to guide that victim down to safety. Next, they conducted a search of floor 4 and found an unconscious victim, whom they brought down the ladder. In total, they assisted 3 fire victims to safety who otherwise would not have made it. Firefighter Vargas heard a radio communication asking for assistance getting an unconscious and unresponsive fire victim down the ladder on the Charlie side of the building. He jumped into action, repositioning a 35-foot ladder for a victim rescue, and climbed the ladder to the 4th floor window in heavy, dark smoke. He then carried the unconscious victim down the ladder to safety. And we'd like to give a special shout out to Captain Craig Warren, who is taking care of family members in California. Great job to all.
Last June, firefighter Sam Wooston, second time on stage, Taylor Malug, and Lieutenant Bo Make both were part of a water rescue on South Lake Union where a person had been confirmed going underwater. The 3 rescue swimmers responded from Station 25. With the assistance of Ladder 10, Engine 25 entered the water at the last seen position. It took 1 dive for them to find the victim, who was on the lake bottom in about 15 to 20 feet of water. They transferred the patient to a Stokes basket and onto Fireboat 3, where CPR was initiated. Once on shore, medics transported the patient to Harborview. One nomination read, "This was the first splash for any of these swimmers in a live event, and they executed flawlessly." The performance of this rescue from the beginning to the end illustrates the commitment of their craft, not only of the swimmers, but the entire crews who supported the swimmers. We wholeheartedly agree. Well done.
This next award recognizes the combined efforts of Fire Station 39 and the Health 1 team. January 2024 started off with a cold snap that dropped temps below freezing for several days in a row. Members of Station 39 posed the idea to use the mass ambulance bus, also known as MAB, that's assigned there as a mobile shelter and outreach tool to reach the unhoused in these dangerously cold conditions. Members staffed the MAB for 72 straight hours, keeping it stocked and clean. They drove to locations to seek vulnerable individuals based on suggestions taken from others who were also on the streets. During that time, they provided warm food, temporary shelter, and transport to more than 250 people. We are grateful for the creativity, the compassion, and dedication to Seattle Fire values modeled by these recipients. Riley DeHogue, Ashley Clayton, Julie Coffin, Elizabeth Aguilar from the Human Service Department, and Seattle firefighters Rodrigo Cruz, Jeremy Elmore, Nicholas Swanson, Alan Headings, William Watley II, Joseph Benish, Delmari Tyndale, Chris Irwin, and Lieutenants Roger Weber, Leonardo Castaneda, and Pat Hubschman. Congrats to all. Thanks for your work.
Thanks for coming up with the idea. Congrats.
Over the course of several years, firefighter Jordan Legan has developed the Seattle Fire Department's Acquired Structure Training Program. Firefighter Legan seeks out structures that are permitted for demolition that can be donated to the department to further our training. These have included some spectacular old churches and homes where our members get to learn about the influence of different architecture and layouts can have on a fire's progression. Firefighter Legan continues to manage and improve the program, ensuring members have realistic training that enhances their ability to operate at the highest level. We're pleased to recognize firefighter Jordan Legan with the Distinguished Service Award.
All right, next up, an administrative citation for the Fire Connect podcast and workshops. You know, hiring for the job of a firefighter is a very different process than most professions. Seattle Fire has held to a schedule of inviting applicants every 2 years and then hiring recruit classes from the resulting list of qualified applicants. At the same time, we focused on increasing our qualified applicant pool to reflect the diversity that exists here in Seattle. Those expectations have meant that HR and Public Affairs have had to find creative new ways to reach this new job market of applicants. The award recognizes John Park, Hannah Costin, Dory Towler, Kayla Lafferty, David Cuerpo, and Kristen Hansen. They worked together on an enhanced Fire Connect webinar series, increased in-person outreach, and a new podcast to attract candidates. Their efforts helped bring in more than 3,800 applications in the process last year. Congratulations for your work.
We're ready to do it again? Ready to do it again?
Last April, Engine 5 requested the fireboat respond to a location along Alaskan Way where a person in a wheelchair had reportedly gone over the railing and was now in the water and swimming away from shore. While fireboat crew members searched with infrared cameras and handheld lights, Rojo, a certified search and rescue dog, began to bark. Rojo was on the boat with his handler, fireboat engineer Brandon Freeland. Brandon noted that Rojo wouldn't alert if he hadn't sensed something. As the fireboat continued its search, Rojo began to alert again, and firefighter Jack Hammond identified a person in the water. Fireboat pilot Aaron Hedrick maneuvered the fireboat for pickup, while Lieutenant Robert Kearns, Engineer Freeland, and firefighter Hammond rescued the person from the water before getting him ashore and to the hospital. Now, while we can give these humans a paper certificate, we thought Rojo deserved something better.
We're deviating from the script. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
No, you're good.
Thanks, Chief. Yep. Rojo and I have been doing this for 10 years. And the other night he told me, you know, if I ever have the opportunity to save someone's life, all that work was totally worth it. So, wow, I mean, if this dog or any dog could talk, the potential we would have to save more lives. Over the 10 years, I've learned how to listen to him, and he does talk to me. Rojo. That night, he had something to say.
Hey, bro, what was it? Yeah.
Rojo, did Timmy fall in a well? Anyway, we've learned to follow that voice. And I want to thank the fire department for letting me bring Rojo to work. I mean, without that, he wouldn't have been there. Thank the fire boat crew that trusted me to follow his voice to find this guy. And primarily the Fire Foundation. They have been a huge support for Rojo since the very beginning, and all of the fire dogs. The very first day Rojo showed up to work at Station 36, a gentleman came to visit us. Skog Dog came to say hi, and that was what happened. And then he grew from there, and now Rojo is that dog. And it's been really fun, and I'm hoping that I can inspire some more people in the fire department to continue with this, because we're down to Rojo, and we're not going to be here much longer.
Next is a commendation for performing CPR on a flight. So on a flight back from Washington, D.C. last June, Captain Mike Doulis responded to a flight crew request for anyone with medical training on board. A fellow passenger had become non-responsive and did not have a pulse. Captain Doulis started CPR in the aisle, but had to move the patient to the rear galley of the plane for better positioning. 2 more medically trained personnel were located and began to assist with the AED, provided oxygen, and administered epinephrine at the medical control's direction. Captain Doulis provided the majority of chest compressions until the plane could make an emergency landing in Buffalo, and firefighters came on board. The plane then had to taxi to another part of the airport, and Captain Doulis helped form the plan to deplane the patient for waiting paramedics. In all, Captain Doulis gave the majority of compressions for more than an hour. An extraordinary effort on his part. Congratulations.
While serving on Medic 26 last October, now retired firefighter paramedic David Head and firefighter paramedic Mike Duncan responded to a 41-year-old male with difficulty breathing. Our medics assessed the patient, whom they determined was rapidly declining with a complete airway compromise. The 2 medics decided to establish an advanced airway with a breathing tube. The patient's condition deteriorated to the point where they needed to perform a crocodiotomy, a rare and relatively high-risk surgical airway intervention. In the medic world, this is a once-in-a-career type of procedure. Thankfully, it was successful and the patient had a good outcome. For their excellence in performing such a high-risk procedure, we award paramedics Head and Duncan with a unit citation.
All right, next we're going to move on to Paramedic of the Year. Come on up. Congratulations. You know, after a story like that, we just heard, this is a good time for this category, Paramedic of the Year, Paramedic Alan Godo. Paramedics receive advanced training to provide exceptional pre-hospital care so that our patients have the best opportunity of survival once they reach the emergency department. This year, we are pleased to announce firefighter paramedic Alan Godo as the 2024 Paramedic of the Year. Let's watch the video.
Thank you, Chief.
I'm Alan Godo. I work in Battalion 3. I'm one of the paramedics on D shift. There's a lot of opportunity to go on emergencies and a lot of opportunities to help people. The best part of it is that I get to do all of those things with people that I like and people that have the same drive to do well that I do, the same feeling of like trying to be the best they can be. And that's what I like the most. In addition to the paramedic work that I do on the medic units, I'm really involved in training, both with new paramedics and with the department's EMTs.
He has been a vital member in teaching our new firefighters to become EMTs, and then also teaching our EMTs to become paramedics. You know, he rides the rigs on his normal shift, and then he gets off duty, and then he goes and teaches. I really can't find someone that's more dedicated to their craft than Alan. He has always been a rock solid member of a crew, and not only has he been an inspirational part of the crew, but he's also very entertaining and can tell wonderful stories. I've watched him grow from firefighter to paramedic to senior paramedic to really a master paramedic. Besides his commitment to the USAR team, teaching our EMTs, teaching our paramedic students, it's really hard to find anyone that's dedicated so much of their life towards helping the citizens of Seattle, and that's why I think he's deserving of the award of Paramedic of the Year.
Next up is a commendation for the Rescue Watercraft Program creation. So on July 1st, Seattle Fire put in service its Rescue Watercraft Program. Adding the 2 rescue watercraft on Lake Washington is the first expansion of the department's marine fleet in over a decade and drastically improved response times on Seattle's fresh water. However, this required an increase in responsibilities for every member assigned to Engine 5. All members of E5 had to successfully complete a 20-hour rescue watercraft operator class and a year-long ongoing training program. Becoming an RWC operator requires a whole new body of training and knowledge and expertise. Engine Company 5 has risen to the challenge without compromising their existing workload. So today we're recognizing the efforts of Captain Dietrich Hauge, Lieutenant Colin Orsini, firefighter Gary Mitchell, and now retired Lieutenant Bob Kearns. Thank you so much.
Next is an administrative citation for 2 very similar programs, similar but different, SimLab for Chief Officers, SimLab for Officers. Let me back up one. Several years ago, we sent a small group to Los Angeles to see how they conducted SimLab training, since they've been doing it for 2 decades. Simulation labs give chief officers the added reps for a good decision-making in real time at incidents. Chiefs have said they have made an effective decision at incident scenes as a result of similar constructs they practice in the sim labs. Our leads have demonstrated exceptional wisdom and dedication, have been open to refining the program using participant feedback. After success of the sim lab for chiefs, the department went about creating a version for company officers. There is no other fire department in this country that has institutionalized this level of critical thinking to the company officer level. This program drops the SIM lab for chiefs into a company officer decision-making level. All of the concepts of both programs are the same. Another advantage to these programs is the chief officers facilitate this process, so we have learning going on between the students and the chiefs. It's a remarkable intersection of opportunity and learning. And for the Sim Lab for Chiefs, who we want to recognize are Maisha Hamilton, Lieutenant Paul Cole, Battalion Chief Dominic Battistelli, Captain Nick Wood, and Captain Sean Branham. And a special shout out to Nick, who's in Florida taking care of his sick father. Your good son, Nick. For the Sim Lab for Officers program, we want to congratulate David Pearson, Battalion Chief Melissa Woolsey, Deputy Chief John Harmon, and Deputy Chief Chris O'Reilly. Thank you very much. You've made a difference. Jared, you stay. Where's and Mickey Man, late again. Mickey?
Put you right here in the center.
Oh, there he is. At the same time, we want to recognize the 2 individuals whose meritorious contributions toward the SimLab program. These 2 are These are the two that we sent down to Los Angeles, and they've been with the program since then. Battalion Chief Jared Fields and firefighter paramedic Mickey Mann are both being recognized with Distinguished Service Awards for their meritorious contributions towards the development and implementation of both SimLab programs. Their mentoring, exceptional vision, and diligence has been instrumental in both SimLabs for officers and chiefs. Thank you very much. We're in your debt.
Thank you. All right, next I'd like to invite up Deputy Chief Chris O'Reilly, our 2024 Chief of the Year.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Chiefs are responsible for ensuring their firefighters, company officers, and battalions are prepared for whatever comes their way. This year's recipient, Deputy Chief Chris O'Reilly, is viewed as a wonderful mentor who listens, encourages, and supports others. His work on projects and committees is noted for driving improvement in operational effectiveness. Let's watch the video.
I'm Chris O'Reilly. I'm the Operations Deputy Chief on A Shift. We have our daily emergencies, we have training, and we have public affairs events. I'm the one that has to make all of those units work out. I have a lot of assistance from training and other people, but it's a busy job. There's a lot to it.
It's the environment that he creates. It doesn't feel like this hierarchy of leadership. I feel like it's an environment of trust and cooperation. There's this consistency that makes you feel safe. You can make mistakes and feel like you're gonna learn from them. And he's one of the first leaders I've ever had since the military that will give me a call and say, hey, I got that wrong. The first time he did that, I just knew that this is somebody I never want to disappoint.
This is the greatest job in the world. I know you hear that all the time, but it's true. I'd like to say thank you for the nomination. It's a big honor. It comes up once a year, and I never thought it was going to be me, but I really appreciate it.
Chief O'Reilly has reminded me of what a good leader is. I'm proud to serve with him and for him. He is dedicated. He has pride in serving the community and all of his subordinates and everybody that works with him. He's humble in his own mistakes. Chief O'Reilly is beyond deserving of the Chief of the Year award.
Hold on. Chief, they're acknowledging you. You can't just walk away.
What's that?
You can't just walk away. You got to sit in this for a second. There you go.
Appreciate it.
Good job.
All right, next up, we have a unit citation for a situation in an elevator. Every time I go to work, we have a podcast studio at the top of the Columbia Tower. Every time I go up there, I think about something like this. And I'm glad that we have firefighters who can do this. So imagine being stuck on an elevator where the nearest way out is 16 floors up. Well, that's what happened December 12th at a 58-story high-rise in downtown Seattle. Ladder 1 was dispatched to an elevator rescue, found 3 occupants trapped in the blind shaft near floor 5 with the nearest access on floor 21. The elevators had lost power. They were inoperable. Ladder 1 requested Rescue 1 and other units to assist in what was now a technician-level rescue. With the elevators and lights out, the stairs were the only option for members to access floor 21, as well as the elevator machine room on floor 40. The responders devised a plan to lower 2 firefighters by rope systems from floor 21 to the top hatch of the elevator box. After accessing them from the hatch, one by one, the elevator occupants were put in rescue harnesses and hoisted 200 feet up to be rescued. The good news, no injuries, and firefighters achieved some of their highest step counts on their Apple Watches, which I see some are wearing. Congratulations to Ladder 1 members, Captain Dan Hess, firefighters Loyal Lycan, Stephen Polfelski, Ben Voits, and Rescue 1 members Lieutenant Spencer Nelson, firefighters Peter Aldesi, Jordan Bradbury, Ryan Rimmer, Casey Hayes, and Josh Materi. Congratulations and thank you.
Okay, we're nearing the end of the ceremony. On my clock here that Mark and I have, we're exactly 7 minutes ahead, so we'll make this quick. But we think we saved the best for last, which is hard to do given all the exceptional stories we've heard today. The final 5 award recipients are Lifetime Achievement Award winners. This is our Hall of Fame. 4 of these individuals are now retired, and 1 is looking forward to earning the right to unplug the alarm clock very soon. Their total combined years of service is 162 years between them. For perspective, that's more than the fire department has been in existence, which is 136 years.
So to be selected for this category means your contributions have significantly changed, shaped, or influenced the department in a positive way. It's safe to say that each one of these individuals has left an indelible mark on Seattle Fire. As he is the only Lifetime Achievement Award winner still working, we will start off by recognizing Lieutenant Keith Wyatt.
I'm Lieutenant Keith Wyatt, Special Events Inspector for the Seattle Fire Department Fire Prevention Division for over 44 years. My job in the Fire Marshal Office is to handle all of the unusual events that occur throughout the city. What I like about it the most is interacting with people. It's always been an honor to work for the fire department. From when I was a little kid of 6 years old, my older brother will tell you I always wanted to be a firefighter. I was the supervising advisor for the fire cadet program for 41 years. The things we did in the cadet program was to give life skills to the person, understand responsibility, requirements, working teamwork. Off the top of my head, I think over 150 have gone through the cadet program since I was an advisor there that have become Seattle firefighters.
In my mind, he's a legend. He's one of those guys where long after he's gone, retired, gardening or whatever he's gonna do, he just, we're gonna talk about him for a long time because he left his mark upon us. It didn't matter if we were out at the Seattle Center or Capitol Hill or farmers markets, everybody loved Keith. Every time they see him, they would give him hugs. And I think he just was such a great representative of the fire department. He left Seattle Fire a better place over his career, and I can't think of anybody more deserving than Keith Wyatt for the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Wyatt. We hope that you carry this acknowledgement of your 45 years of service as you prepare for retirement. Through your work with the cadet program, extending your help to others, and as a mentor for your colleagues, there's no doubt your presence and contributions will be missed by many people. Congrats.
Our next honoree is retired Ladder 3 Captain Scott Gray.
I'm Scott Gray. I retired July 1st, 2023. I retired as the captain of Ladder 3. I had 29 and a half years in when I retired. As the captain of Ladder 3, I was in charge of the 4 platoons on Ladder 3, assigned to Ladder 3 A shift, standard company level operations, responding to emergencies, training, building inspections, special projects. I think my favorite part of the job was interacting with the public. The opportunity to interact with people from your average grocery store shopping in the Central District to dealing with loved ones who've had some sort of trauma happen in their life. It's a very unique experience, and a privileged opportunity to have as a member of the Seattle Fire Department. I've always enjoyed where I've worked and the commitment that people have here, the commitment to doing a good job.
I think first and foremost, if you're talking about Scott Gray, I mean, you're looking at his knowledge base. We never went to an incident where he didn't already have a plan rolling when we got there. He would trust us to get done what he's asking us to do. It was really important to him to do a good job. It was really important to him to teach other people to do a good job. He trained some fantastic firefighters. He got a never-ending stream of phone calls from people that respected his opinion and wanted his thoughts on stuff. And that's why I think Captain Gray definitely deserves the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Congratulations, Captain Gray. As one of your nominators said, you set a standard of excellence and provided clear direction and support when it mattered most. You've more than earned the respect of your peers and those that you led in your time. Thank you for your 29 years of commendable service.
All right, the next Lifetime Achievement Award winner is none other than the electrifying and now retired Engine 25 Captain Chris Green. Let's watch the video.
I'm Chris Green. I retired on June 29th of 2023. A little over 27 years with Seattle Fire Department and 29 plus years in the fire service. The idea that I got to be here in this city with these people, with this leadership, and be given the opportunities that I was given. I loved working for Seattle Fire. You know, I get choked up thinking about it. To the command staff, thanks so much for your support. To Seattle City Light, thank you so much for seeing this energy hazard program through.
The energy response team is the first in the nation. It was what Captain Green worked on for the last 7 to 8 years of his career, creating a team that handles energy responses for the entire city. We're one of the only agencies in the nation that actively, offensively fights a fire within an energized space. But he never wanted to have any of the credit for himself. He was always pushing others forward into the limelight. So it's something I really appreciate about him.
I felt like I did everything I could for Seattle Fire and the people that I worked around. And I hope to God that I got most of it right. There's a lot of people out there that give a lot to the fire department, and every one of them, you know, is worthy of a lifetime achievement.
Because of his dedication to his fellow firefighters, his innovation in the energy response realm, and his selflessness to the job and the way he approached the job day in and day out, those are some of the reasons why Captain Green is so deserving of the Lifetime Achievement Award.
One thing about Captain Green is when he wound up his career, I told him, people are going to be calling you. People have been calling him from all over the nation to tap into his knowledge on energy response. Like it was mentioned, our team is the first in the nation, and he's a big part of that. I'm sorry, Mark, I probably threw you off.
No, you said it better than I could.
Oh, all right.
It's perfect, perfect.
Thanks, Cap.
Congratulations.
Our next honoree is retired Station 22 Captain Duncan Jewell. He may be hard to recognize in this video.
I am Duncan Jewell, and I retired after 28 years in the fire department out of Station 22. And as you can see, I am fully embracing the retirement lifestyle. It was just my dream to be able to actually work for Seattle and give back to the community that kind of raised me and where I spent all my formative years. Along with the important work that we did and being able to be with people on their worst days and solve these problems together, It was the people that you got to do it with that really made this career so special. And I just hope that I've been able to give back to the fire department as much as it's given me. Now that I've retired, retirement life is pretty darn good too. So definitely something to strive for.
Just an outstanding leader, you know, the kind of leader you'd always want to have as your officer, you know, someone who, you know, cared about you, cared about getting you home safe, you know, wasn't afraid to jump in and help at any point. And he was a great resource for all the people around him. Anyone who would come and ask him a question about a disability issue or whatever, he could answer it. Never complained about any assignment he had, took it head on and made the position better. Due to his consistency, character, dedication and service to the citizens of the city of Seattle, and not only that, to his crews, you know, he really dedicated to his crews. He is more than deserving of this Lifetime Achievement Award.
Okay. All right, last but certainly not least is retired firefighter paramedic Kelly Brusa. Let's watch the video.
I'm Kelly Brusa, and I retired after 32 years of service in the Seattle Fire Department. My last 26 years, I was assigned to Battalion 3 as a paramedic. I loved the challenge to be the best in the country. Here in Seattle, we were different than others. Every time we go on a CPR, we think that we're going to save someone's life. People come here and do ride-alongs with Seattle Medic 1 and firefighters that I work with. I love and I'm proud to say that I was a Seattle Fire paramedic. So whenever they were short-staffed or a big emergency came within the fire department, they had people outside of the dispatching center to be able to be trained in that job. And so I did that for 28 years, and it was absolutely awesome. My favorite part of the job was going out and being challenged all the time. We reflected and we asked each other, what could we have done better? Teaching for me was a big part, not only in the dispatch center, but as a paramedic, and I loved teaching. It's been an amazing 32 years. I'm so proud of it and so excited that I got to work for Seattle Fire Department.
Kelly was always able to find the good in anybody, whether it be a patient on the street or the newest firefighter. She would do a lot of teaching. She was always somebody that's very approachable, so if you had questions about calls, you come back and Kelly could explain them really well. She took that same approach down to the dispatch center. Compassionate, dedicated, fun-loving, reliable, dependable, a good friend. And these are the things that make Kelly so deserving of a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow, I don't know about you, but after watching all these videos, I'm just going to say we're in pretty good hands, aren't we? Yeah, let's give a round of applause to everyone recognized today.
I have just a couple of reminders. The annual SFD photo will be taken out there on the perch in about 10 minutes. After the ceremony, please make your way there. You can ask the fire dog photos to take additional photos afterwards, and a link to the photos will be sent to the registered attendees soon. Finally, I want to thank you for allowing me to be your MC, and it's an honor doing it beside the fantastic Mark Wright. You know, Mark, I'm not embarrassed to say that you've mentored me on how to be on stage, and I guess that's what allowed me to become perfect, in your words.
Sounds like another sticky note to me. I forgot to mention, but I do want to once again thank the Seattle Fire Foundation and the amazing sponsors that made today possible for every fire department employee and award recipient to attend at no cost. Knowing the impact that the foundation is having on Seattle Fire is just awe-inspiring. We really hope to see continued fundraising success. If you want to help out, September 10th, breakfast right here at the Embassy Suites is how we can support. So, from the Fire Awards Committee to everybody evaluated, the wheels just came off. It was going so well for 93 minutes. From the Awards Committee, who evaluated every nomination, to the team who planned the event and the hotel staff, just want to say a big thank you. And now we have a final word from our chaplain, who probably won't blow her lines, or his lines. Come on up. Thanks, Joel.
Well, we don't know about that. So our recognizing of citizens, members of the community, members of agencies all over, I can't name them all, in the Seattle Fire Department. We celebrate the honoring, the healing, the knowledge, the innovation, and rescue that all takes place with courage and compassion. And we ask that the Lord would lead us from here today, acknowledging those gifts, and by our side to encourage us in our calling, behind us, to strengthen us in our selfless love, be above us to guide us and to guard us, and especially within us to give us peace. Amen.
And this concludes our program. Thanks, everybody.